Frequently asked question. Am I ready to buy a house?
I'm McCord with REMAX Realty Center. I'm a licensed real estate agent in Maryland and Washington, D.C. This YouTube channel shows young professionals and growing families how to buy and sell homes in Germantown, Maryland. Subscribe and follow the journey.
I want to buy a house. I've been thinking about it, and other people are telling me, or I see coworkers buy a house. I want to buy a house too, but I don't know if I'm ready to buy a house. How will I know? Usually people come to me and they say, hey, Mac, I want to buy a house. And I think that they expect me to jump up, okay, how many beds, baths, where, and all that other stuff. But I stop, I take a second, and I ask them, are you ready to buy a house? They look at me like I'm strange, like, what do you mean? Are you ready to buy a house? And people stop and they think, and they're like, I don't know what that means. Well, this is what that means. These are the questions that I ask people. Do you have a steady income? Because if you have a steady income, that is going to be one of the first things that the lender is going to look at, is making sure that you got enough money coming in to pay for the house. What's your debt looking like? Because they are going to run an evaluation and they're going to see how much money is coming in versus how much money is going out. All right, they call this your debt to income ratio, right? How much debt do you have? Like, how much money are you paying out on a monthly basis versus how much money is coming in? A lot of times lenders want that to be, 50% or below. In an ideal world, sometimes some people will flex a little bit and go a little bit higher than 50%. But I think in an ideal world, if your debt to income is below that 50% of what you make, then you got a better chance of getting approved for a loan. There's plenty of options when it comes to financing, but really what it comes down to is, do you have enough cash to put down a down payment? And then what is often forgotten about, closing costs. So closing costs are usually in about that 3% range when it comes to paying out for closing costs. So making sure that you have enough money for your down payment and closing costs, or at the very least you have a way of coming up with that money, is very important to the buying process. Now, if you are a W-2 employee, they're going to be looking at your pay stubs, and they're going to be looking at your financials, making sure that you have a job. They want to make sure that you have a job and that you have money in the bank, so they're going to be evaluating those things. They're going to contact your employer just to verify that you have a job there and that you're working, and then they're going to look at things like your pay stubs to make sure you're being paid what you said you're being paid. We also want to see that you've been in the same job or the same industry for the past 2 years. So I always try to tell people, hey, here's the deal. Doesn't matter how much you dislike your job at the current time. If you're looking to buy a house, you gotta suck it up. You gotta stick with it for the time being until that loan closes, and then you're free to go find another job and what have you. Those are the frequently asked questions that I get